Ben 10 is a highly popular cartoon from the late 2000s that has spawned multiple iterations over the past decade. The great writing, the alien designs, the banging theme song.
Started when an alien device did what it did and stuck itself upon his wrist with secrets that it hid. Now he's got superpowers, he's no ordinary kid, he's Ben 10.
All of this has kept this series culturally relevant for years and years. However, this video will be about one alien in particular, one that seems to cause an uproar whenever it's mentioned and cause people to roll their eyes in just pure annoyance and hatred. And that alien is Fasttrack. Fasttrack is an alien that was introduced in season 3 of Ultimate Alien alongside Jury Rig, Ito, Clockwork, and Chameleon. He is a Citricaire from the planet Chilibees and is a humanoid feline alien similar to Wrath. Only, instead of being tiger-based, he is cheetah-based. And with that in mind, this is where the problem begins for people. Fasttrack was introduced off-screen in the episode Basic Training as another speedster alien for Ben's arsenal. And with the only other ones being Accelerate and Jet Ray, I personally would think that him having more options would be a good thing. Apparently, I'm one of the only few that thinks like that because apparently from what I see online, people despise Fasttrack. Claims that he's just a rip-off Accelerate, that is pointless and redundant, that his design is boring because it's humanoid, and even Kevin makes fun of him in the show any chance he gets.
I thought that would go differently.
Nah, it's good. He loses way faster than Accelerate.
I just can't believe it because there are 1,912,000 aliens in the Omnitrix and Ben has unlocked less than 100 of them. There are bound to be multiple that have power overlap. Heck, the current set that Ben has a lot of overlap. So, why would he choose to use a Blitzwolfer or Ditto when he could just use Echo Echo? Why would he use Heat Blast or Wildvine if he could just use Swampfire? He's always trying to use Humongousaur for everything when he can use Wrath or Forearms for the same thing. I'm the one who made the meme about how Ben 10 fans were perfectly fine with Ben having 7 electrical aliens or aliens that have electrical abilities, but they lose their mind at Fasttrack's existence because apparently having 2 speedsters goes too far. And the responses to that meme proved my point because people were immediately quick to justify and excuse all the electrical aliens and still put down Fasttrack. The excuses of all the designs are different, oh they have different powers too, or how they use their electricity is different so it's fine. Well, guess what? That's fine. Y'all's reasoning, that's perfectly fine and I can agree with some of it. But my primary point is that they still have electrical abilities in general. So what's the big deal if Ben has another black and blue speedster? There's probably hundreds of other speedsters in that Omnitrix that we haven't even met yet. Like I said, there are 1 million aliens in the Omnitrix. There's going to be a ton of overlap. Eel and Upchuck have essentially the same exact powers, but there's not as much hate for Eel. There's some hate for him, but it's not as much as it is for Fasttrack. Upgrade and Jury Rig both upgrade technology. Even though Jury Rig breaks it too, and their things are fundamentally different, that's still similar enough. And then there's Overflowing Water Hazard, which I feel is the most egregious example, but people don't care about the reboot, so they ignore that. And it really does get weird to think about because it's like even the crew themselves don't care about Fasttrack. They apparently couldn't think of anything to make him more interesting when there was someone on the crew that speculated that Fasttrack was stronger or can lift more than Accelerate, while Accelerate was faster than Fasttrack. That's something that could easily make them more separate. Accelerate species sacrifices its strength for speed, and Fasttrack species sacrifices its speed for strength. Easy reason for Ben to choose one or the other in different situations. And given that Fasttrack was name dropped 3 times in Omniverse but never appeared, I'm pretty sure there's a definite difference there that Ben sees. I mean, in the Eggman Cometh, Jet Ray, Fasttrack, and Accelerate were all practically next to each other in the Omnitrix. So Ben could use any of them at any time, and he was about to use Jet Ray. And he also used Fasttrack more in that entire season, not only because he was the new alien in general, but because he was the new one in the Omnitrix that Ben 10,000 gave him. And he wanted to practice more. The episode literally started with him as Fasttrack sparring with Kevin.
Could you move about 2 feet to the right?
What are you doing? Why are you fighting?
We're not fighting.
We're practicing.
And we see that he really does need to practice more with Fasttrack later on when he failed to catch the missile even though he outsped it twice. And with that in mind, let me go on a mini tangent because people love to act like Fast Track does nothing but fail whenever he shows up. He's only had 8 appearances in the entire show. And of those 8 times, he only failed 3 times. And those fails would have happened regardless of if it was him or Accelerate. The main one that gets brought up and memed to death is that he got clotheslined by King George right after transforming. People are acting like Accelerate did not get backhanded by Victor back in the OG series, and that Princess Luma did not clothesline Accelerate in the Omniverse. That is not a Fast Track exclusive thing. That's a Speedster thing. All that is telling us is that to defeat a Speedster alien, hold your arm out and they'll run into it and fall flat on their ass. That's literally all that's telling us. And when he didn't catch Darkstar in time, that was going to happen regardless because Darkstar was already reading the spells as he was flying away. So regardless of who was chasing after him, he would have caused the explosion. It was going to happen. The only one that I would give as a knock against Fast Track officially is the missile, because even though he outran the missile twice, he couldn't stop himself because he doesn't have the same kind of friction that Accelerate does. So he couldn't stop himself from running. That's literally it. And people love to ignore his feats as if they don't exist at all. Because what I mentioned earlier about someone speculating that he can lift more or he was stronger than Accelerate, that was showcased in his very last episode that he showed up in. He was knocking the Esoterica out of the existence with one punch. And they didn't get back up. They didn't come back. And he was doing it quickly and efficiently. Like, that's why I'm mad that they didn't showcase more of his physicality in Omniverse, because they had the opportunity to. Like, that would have been a perfect time to show Fast Track doing something different and showing that he's strength over speed and leaving Accelerate at speed over strength. But they didn't take that chance. That's not to mention that Fast Track was included in the Ben 10 Galactic Racing game and was stated to be so fast that he could become intangible and that he could whip hurricanes at his opponents. Now, that's something that could have been implemented and used in the actual show, but they made it exclusive to the game instead because it's a game and they have special abilities because it's a racing game. And apparently the game is another reason why people hate him so much, because people erroneously say that Fast Track was only added to the show to be a promotion alien for the game, which doesn't make any sense. Early drafts of different episodes that included Fast Track were from mid to late 2010 when they didn't even have a concrete name for him yet. They were calling him Blue Streak, Speed Freak, Fast Track was spelled differently. He didn't have a real name yet. And the actual game came out a year later in October 2011 after he'd already been seen once in basic training back in April of the same year. The only reason people are saying he was only made and included to promote a game is because the next time they saw him was in A Night to Remember, which premiered after the game came out in December of 2011. So people pretty much just ignored the fact that he was already seen 8 months prior and just dismissed everything as, oh, they replaced Accelerate with a bootleg from a video game? That sucks. When that wasn't the case at all. So I really think that Fast Track doesn't deserve the hate and vitriol he gets. I get that people were nostalgic over Accelerate at the time and they didn't like that he was being quote unquote replaced. But come on, if Ben can have all those electric guys, all those strength guys, y'all can let him have more than one speedster. I mean, y'all pretty much got y'all's wish in Omniverse. Accelerate was the only one that Ben ever used. Jet ran Fast Track were nowhere to be found. But yeah, that's the end of this. Feel free to disagree. I already know most people will, because Accelerate's the OG and Fast Track was the new guy who only got one season to showcase anything and never got a chance again. And so people just automatically just think of his fails and nothing else. But yeah, I just wanted to give my own perspective out there. A bit of a different kind of video. 2026, I'm going to try to upload more, maybe collab with more people if people are willing. But I'm just tired of just being on the sidelines and not really doing much, because I really want to improve my situations and just do more stuff. So we'll see what happens this year. Hopefully things will work out. If not, but it is what it is. Dark and Windy out.